Joining me now is the ever beloved from Michigan, Lions' own Gary Danielson. How excited are you for the Wolverines to enter Big Ten play with an exciting new matchup in the USC
Are
Trojans?
we still allowed to quote Jim Harbaugh? Because I feel like I got it pretty good this weekend. I really, had a good long career, both as a player and now as an announcer, and still get excited to do one of these games. Pretty damn lucky.
It is. It is. I always say sports are the luckiest job when we get such exciting games like this. Back at Big Ten Media Day, you said that USC is the most important team in the conference right now. As we're getting into the nitty-gritty of week 4, do you still feel that way?
I think the success long-term of USC will strengthen the perception around the country of how good football is being played. It'll help more teams in the Big Ten. If USC starts winning, that'll help a Wisconsin or an Iowa or Purdue get in there as the 3rd or 4th seed. So it's television-wise, you'll get more viewers. And if you look at USC playing, they might have the most improved unit in college football. The question mark was defense, and they've improved a lot.
Exactly. And that third-year Lincoln Riley defense you just mentioned, do you think that's a match right now for the change we're seeing under center at Michigan with Alex Orji coming in? We know he's mobile.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we know Michigan loves to run the ball. I think because of the inexperience on the offensive line, Davis Warren had a tough job there. Michigan used to run the ball, have a little short play action passes, a lot of guys wide open. I don't want to say it was easy, but it was comfortable in a lot of games. It wasn't comfortable because they didn't run the ball as much for Davis. It was harder to do. So I think Alex will help take some of the pressure off of that offensive line, get the running churning a little bit more. And then, if the Michigan game plan will be, if we run it pretty well, we'll pass a little bit. If we run it really well, ask Penn State. There'll be 32 straight runs to finish the game. Then we know what Michigan wants to do and Sharon wants to do.
Absolutely. You've mentioned, what USC brings into this conference in terms of meaningful game opponents. What do you think it means more to in the scheme of where we are right now in the season? Would a Michigan win mean more over USC right now, or would a USC beating last year's champions mean?
I think it's a little bit more desperate for this Michigan team. I think, USC they play big name schools after this, but the weaker road games are in front of them. And some of the Big Ten teams that are coming to USC, they all got to go to California. So USC could survive this loss. This would be a tough one for Michigan, considering what the rest of their schedule looks like.
Absolutely. And I know everyone loves to laud at the fact that these Wolverines were champions just a few months ago, but in reality, we see on the gridiron how different this team looks.
Yeah.
Even if USC did post a win, do you think it's the same as what it could have been if we were doing this a year ago?
Oh, no, that was a different Michigan team a year ago. That was a team that had that bitter taste of the TCU loss. They all re-engaged. That was a team that was built on 10, 12, 14 NFL players that decided to come back for one more year, a number 1 draft pick at quarterback. This is a different team. But I do think the Michigan team, if they can survive, will be a much better team in December than where they are right now. They're going to grow. They're going to get better. If they get over USC, this will be really interesting, Michigan making a run for the playoffs.
Absolutely. Trojans are coming in undefeated. Miller Moss can certainly take care of the ball, but this is his first true road game. Is that O-line strong enough to keep the Wolverines on both sides of the ball down?
Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge. I mean, that defensive line for the defensive line for USC has to put, some pressure. And then for Michigan, they got to figure a way to get Miller Moss a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket. That's basically the ball game. The strength of the Michigan defensive line has to be an impact in this football game. It is the first true road game, but the LSU game in Las Vegas was about 70% LSU fans. Most of these kids nowadays have grown up in AAU ball. They've traveled in high school. I don't think the fans on the home field is that big of a deal. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I really have a lot of respect for these athletes. Michigan's going to have to beat them on the field. It's nice to play at home, but that Michigan players, they're going to have to win this one on their own.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary, for your insight. And we can't wait to hear you and Brad on the call Saturday right here on CBS Detroit.
My pleasure.